cornucopia. Node, Admin, and Angry Bidoof start fighting, but Admin runs away as Node kills Angry Bidoof. Ethan, Miguel, and Bry get into a fight. Bry triumphantly kills both. Sorry, boys. Carlos clutches a first aid kit and runs away. The receipts finds a backpack full of camping equipment. Dylan runs away from the cornucopia. Price, Linz, and Cass work together to get as many supplies as possible. Jacob runs away from the cornucopia. Hello, Jacob, as always. Kevin finds a canteen full of water. Ryan kills Phoebe as she tries to run. Lex and Kirsten fight for a bag. Kirsten gives up and retreats. Dark Knight grabs a jar of fishing bait while the Scotsman gets fishing gear. Day 1. Ryan and Dark Knight split up to search for resources. The Receipts is pricked by thorns while picking berries. The Scotsman picks flowers. Admin attacks Lex, but she manages to escape. Dylan goes hunting. Tobin accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Carlos discovers a cave. Price attacks Jacob, but he manages to get away. Bry injures himself. Cass picks flowers. Kevin discovers a cave. Kirsten dies from hypothermia. Linz pushes Volxion off a cliff during a night fight. District 7 male, aka Gemini, discovers a river. Node sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Haley injures herself. I told you that this gets interesting, Volxion. Wow, I did day 1. You hate to see it, Kirsten. You hate to see it. 7 cannon shots can be heard. Angry Bidoof, Ethan, Miguel, Phoebe, Tobin, Kirsten, and Volxion. Proceed. Night 1. Jacob, the Scotsman, and Ryan cheerfully sing songs together. Kevin quietly hums. Haley tends to her wounds. District 7 male, aka Gemini, goes to sleep. Dylan, Dark Knight, Linz, and Bry sleep in shifts. Cass tries to treat her infection. Node, Admin, the Receipts, Lex, and Carlos sleep in shifts. Bryce cooks his food before his fire goes out. I know, right? That really is pretty fast for hypothermia. Day 2. Linz and Node hunt for other tributes. Kevin and Bry hunt for other tributes. Dylan pushes the Scotsman off a cliff during a knife fight. That's what you call a United Gamer moment. Jacob, Ryan, and Price successfully ambush and kill Lex, District 7 male, aka Gemini, and Dark Knight. The Receipts receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Haley hunts for other tributes. Carlos fishes. Admin injures himself, and Cass injures herself. Hi, Nick. 4 cannon shots can be heard. The Scotsman, Lex, District 7 male, aka Gemini, and Dark Knight. Night 2. Dylan tends to Price's wounds. Node, Haley, the Receipts, and Bry track down and kill Jacob. Admin convinces Linz to snuggle with him. Cass silently snaps Ryan's neck. Carlos is awoken by nightmares. Kevin thinks about winning. Kevin makes a wooden spear. Haley, Linz, and the Receipts successfully ambush and kill Node, Carlos, and Bry. Rip me. Price discovers a river. Admin stalks Cass. Dylan receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Proceed. 5 cannon shots can be heard. Jacob, Ryan, Node, Carlos, and Bry. I knew cats were evil. I know, right? Cass thinks about home. Price climbs a tree to rest. Kevin sets up camp for the night. Linz passes out from exhaustion. Admin sees a fire but stays hidden. Haley defeats the Receipts in a fight but spares her life. Dylan accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Haley, you really aren't. You're not doing very bad for yourself, girl. The feast. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tributes' families. Haley decides not to go to the feast. Feel like that's a good idea. Cass and Linz fight Kevin and the Receipts. Kevin and the Receipts survive. Price decides not to go to the feast. Admin falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Day 4. Haley makes a slingshot. The Receipts question her sanity. Kevin tries to sleep through the day, and Price unknowingly eats toxic berries. 5 cannon shots can be heard. Dylan, Kaz, Linz, Admin, and Price. See everyone's status. So we only have 3 people alive. The Receipts, Kevin, and Haley. Guys, place your bets on who's going to win. I don't know. I feel like my money's on Haley. I know. That's a definite plot twist. The admin just died before Price. Your money's on Kevin, Volks. Okay. Gemini's betting on the Receipts. uh, Haley, the Receipts. Kevin. Okay. The Receipts always win. I mean, do they? Anyways, Haley lets Kevin into her shelter. The Receipt sees a fire but stays hidden. The Receipt collects fruits from a tree. Haley is pricked by thorns while picking berries, and Kevin camouflages himself into the bushes. Honestly, I hope the Receipts wins. No kid shots can be heard in the distance. Night 5. The Receipts looks at the night sky. Haley goes to sleep, and Kevin stays awake all night. Day 6. The Receipts collects fruit from a tree. Kevin makes a wooden spear, and Haley searches for a water source. No cannon shots can be heard that night. That day, whatever. Night 6. Kevin throws a knife into Haley's head. The Receipts die of hypothermia. Making your winner, Kevin, from District 12. Jan runs away. Admin clutches a first aid kit and runs away. Kirsten runs away from the cornucopia. Haley runs away. Kevin and Nick both run away. Price, Node, the Scotsman, and Ash Ryan share everything they gathered before running. The Receipts, Chase, Bry, and Carlos form a suicide pact, killing themselves. I hate it here. District 7 male, aka Gemini, and Dark Knight fight for a bag. Dark Knight gives up and retreats. Ryan grabs his shield, leaning on the cornucopia. Jacobs runs away from the cornucopia. Spark rips a mace out of LeBag's hands. Miguel steps off his podium too soon and blows up. Linz grabs a shovel, and Tobin runs away from the cornucopia. Node begs for LeBag to kill him. He refuses, keeping Node alive. Volxion attacks Admin, but he manages to escape. Ethan receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. The Scotsman tries to sleep through the entire day. Tobin injures himself. Bryson kills Jacob for his supplies. District 7, aka Gemini, collects fruit from a tree. Kirsten tries to sleep through the entire day. Dark Knight explores the arena. Kevin constructs a shack. Haley, Spark, Ash, Ryan, and Nick hunt for other tributes, and Linz makes a slingshot. The receipt said, nope, not this time. I mean, you're not wrong. 6 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. The Receipts chase Bry, Carlos, Miguel, and Jacob. The game knows me too well. Chase. Dark Knight screams for help. Linz tries to treat her infection. District 7 male, aka Gemini, thinks about winning. Node questions his sanity. Kirsten, the Scotsman, and Price sleep in shifts. LeBag receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Spark defeats Ethan in a fight but spares his life. Ryan pushes Volxion off a cliff during a night fight. What is with you and cliffs? Volxion, what is with you and cliffs? Ash Ryan stays awake all night. Admin thinks about home. Kevin begs for Tobin to kill him. He refuses, keeping Kevin alive. Haley poisons Nick's drink but mistakes it for her own and dies. Hi, Price. Welcome in. Ash Ryan searches for firewood. Price is unable to convince District 7 male, aka Gemini, to not kill him. Node receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Ryan runs away from the Scotsman. Kirsten begs for Spark to kill her. He refuses, keeping Kirsten alive. LeBag fishes. Nick, Admin, Dark Knight, and Ethan raid Tobin's camp while he is hunting. Lynn sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. And then Kevin discovers a cave. Hi, Siago. Me screaming sounds accurate. Three cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Volxion, Haley, and Price. I mean, yes, you could be on the same team, but also there's the fact that, it's the Hunger Games. Ash Ryan spears Kirsten in the abdomen. So Ash killed Kirsten. Tobin is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Nick cooks his food before putting his fire out. Kevin, Dark Knight, and the Scotsman cheerfully sing songs together. District 7 male, aka Gemini, thinks about winning. Yes, sir, fear me. Node sets up camp for the night. Lynn stays awake all night. Ethan receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Spark thinks about home. Admin and Ryan huddle for warmth, and then LeBag is awoken by nightmares. LeBag, I'm not PG. You can swear. Spark is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Tobin begs for Rush Ryan to help him. She refuses, keeping Tobin alive. Nick receives medical attention from an unknown sponsor. Dark Knight sprains his ankle while running away from LeBag. The Scotsman attacks Ryan, but he manages to escape. Admin, Node, District 7 male, aka Gemini, Linz, and Ethan hunt for other tributes, and then Kevin makes a wooden sphere. One cannon shot can be heard in the distance, and it's Kirsten. You live past day one, Kirsten. Dark Knight defeats Gemini in a fight but spares his life. Ryan cooks his food before putting his fire out. Node, Nick, and Admin cheerfully sing songs. Tobin thinks about winning. Ash Ryan is unable to convince LeBag to not kill her. Kevin questions his sanity. Linz and Spark tell stories about themselves to each other, which is fairly accurate. The Scotsman passes out from exhaustion, and Ethan cries himself to sleep. Nightbot does lie, Jacob. You made that command. Day 4. Ryan hunts for other tributes. District 7 male, aka Gemini, explores the area. Admin, the Scotsman, LeBag, and Linz raid Node's camp while he is hunting. Tobin searches for a water source. Nick stalks Kevin. Dark Knight runs away from Spark, and Ethan makes a slingshot. One cannon shot can be heard in the distance, and it's Ash from District 11. District 7 male, aka Gemini, sees a fire but stays hidden. Node receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Ryan receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Tobin sees the fire but stays hidden. Kevin throws a knife into Ethan's head. Nick dies of dysentery. Linz receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Adam and Spark and the Scotsman sleep in shifts. LeBag climbs a tree to rest, and Dark Knight questions his sanity. Mark told Linz his college stories. Oh God. Kevin, Linz, Tobin, and Node raid Admin's camp while he is hunting, not sleeping. District 7 male, aka Gemini, explores the area. LeBag, the Scotsman, Ryan, and Dark Knight raid Spark's camp while he is hunting. Two cannon shots can be heard. Ethan and Nick. Ryan and District 7 male, aka Gemini, sleep in shifts. The Scotsman receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Dark Knight cooks his food before putting his fire out. Tobin thinks about winning. Node attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Spark cooks his food before putting his fire out. Admin goes to sleep. LeBag stays awake all night. Kevin receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Linz is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Admin camouflages himself in the bushes. LeBag tries to spear a fish with a trident. Node chases Kevin. Ryan chases Linz off. District 7 male, aka Gemini, overpowers Dark Knight, killing him. Spark receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Telwyn practices his archery, and the Scotsman discovers a river. Sean Raider, boy. Oh, the bag. One cannon shot can be heard in the distance. Dark Knight. The Scotsman lets LeBag into his shelter. Node is unable to convince Admin to not kill him. Linz stabs District 7 male, aka Gemini, in the back with a trident. Kevin, Tobin, Ryan, and Spark tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. The feast. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tributes to families. Spark severely injures LeBag and leaves him to die. Admin, Ryan, and Kevin decide not to go to the cornucopia. Tobin shoots an arrow at Linz but misses and kills John instead. I feel like that's sad. Lynn sets off an explosive, killing Tobin, Admin, Spark, and Kevin, and Ryan dies from hypothermia. So your winner, after all of these cannon shots can be heard, is Linz. Linz literally said, "I'm blowing up all of you. I do not care." All good. All I did was run, scream, and question my existence as per usual. Dark, I love you. Hi, Mel. Welcome in, Miguel. Phase Flip 1. Chobin really tried to murder his girlfriend. She's always doing in Razor in District 3. Miguel, Jacob, and Marlix in District 4. Mel, John, and Volxion in District 5. Linz, Tobin, and Brooks in District 6. Jonai, The Receipts, and Cassie in District 7. Chase, Spark, and Jadaji. Ariana Grande, Giratina, and Arceus in District 9. Nat, Kurai, and Dialga in District 10. Nightbot, Deku, and Bakugo in District 11. Sanji, 18-wheeler Vlogger, and Doug Dimmadome in District 12. And with that, we're going to proceed. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. The Receipts gathers as much food as she can. Miguel runs away. Node runs away. Mel severely injures Linz and leaves her to die. Briar receives a trident from inside the cornucopia. So I receive a trident. That's either going to end terribly or well. Sanji runs away. Bakugo runs away. Volxion grabs a backpack, not realizing it's empty. Kurai runs away from the cornucopia. Brooks runs away from the cornucopia. Arceus grabs a backpack, not realizing it's empty. Chase runs away from the cornucopia. 18-wheeler Vlogger runs away from the cornucopia. Dang it, I forgot Dark. Dark! Dialga and Ryan fight Price and Deku. Dialga and Ryan survive. Giratina runs away from the cornucopia. Kirsten and Razor fight for a bag. Razor gives up and retreats. John runs away from the cornucopia. Doug Dimmadome runs away from the cornucopia. Marlix and Kevin fight for a bag. Marlix gives up and retreats. Jacob and Nightbot run away from the cornucopia. Ariana Grande and Spark fight for a bag. Ariana Grande gives up and retreats. Admin, Nat, Jadaji, and Tobin share everything they gathered before running. Gemini runs away, Cassie runs away, and Ash Ryan runs away. $5 on Kevin or Doug Dimmadome. I hate you. Kevin collects fruit from a tree. 18-wheeler Vlogger practices his archery. John discovers a cave. Sanji, Admin, Ash Ryan, Cassie, and Arceus hunt for other tributes. Doug Dimmadome steals from Mel while she isn't looking. Jadaji makes a slingshot. Spark, Giratina, Kurai, and Kirsten raid Razor's camp while he's hunting. Bakugo tends to Nat's wounds. Gemini diverts Ryan's attention and runs away. Ariana Grande throws a knife into Brooks' head. Possibly, Jacob, possibly. Brian makes a wooden spear. Miguel is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Jacob forces Nightbot to kill Marlix or the Node. He refuses to kill, so Jacob kills him instead. Jacob, that was savage. You killed Nightbot. The Receipts receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Volxion tries to sleep through the entire day. Tobin practices his archery. Chase questions his sanity, and Dialga practices his archery. Kirsten, you really have it out for Razor. 5 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Lynn's Price, Deku, Brooks, and Nightbot. Uh, you make a very good point, Nat. I have no idea how you got hurt. Tried to. Sanji attempts to make a fire but is unsuccessful. Karai cries himself to sleep. Razor tends to his wounds. Mel, Giratina, Dialga, Miguel, and Spark sleep in shifts. Arceus strangles the Receipts with a rope. Arceus is just out here. Jacob receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Node tries to treat his infection. Cassie receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Ash Ryan is awoken by nightmares. Kirsten goes to sleep. Kevin, Gemini, Admin, and Marlix tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Tobin receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Doug Dimmadome, Nat E, Chase, and Bakugo sleep in shifts. Briar passes out from exhaustion. Jadachi, John, Ariana Grande, and Ryan sleep in shifts. 18-wheeler vlogger passes out from exhaustion. Volxion sees a fire but stays hidden. I mean, I'm clumsy as hell. Only God and hypothermia can destroy the Receipts. Chase searches for firewood. Bry begs for Nat to kill him. He refuses, keeping Bry alive. Thank you, Nat. Ash Ryan receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Jacob tends to Doug Dimmadome's wounds. How did Doug Dimmadome get wounded? Bakugo is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Cassie tries to spearfish with a trident. John searches for a clean water source. Razor throws a knife into Adam's chest. Tobin sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Gemini camouflages himself in the bushes. Karai injures himself. Marlix practices his archery. Spark picks flowers. Kirsten receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Ariana Grande fishes. Volxion begs for Miguel to kill him. He refuses, keeping Volxion alive. Dialga steals from Giratina while he isn't looking. Ryan defeats Shidachi in a fight but spares his life. Node and Sanji hunt for other tributes. 18-wheeler vlogger practices his archery, and Arceus goes hunting. Yes, Signal, you can join the next round. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. The Receipts and Admin. Right? Some of these don't make sense. When did you grab it? Write it. Karai quietly hums. Gemini starts a fire. Nat E convinces Jadaji to snuggle with him. Wholesome. Arceus destroys Kevin's supplies while he is asleep. Razor tends to Ash Ryan's wounds. Chase attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. John thinks about winning. Doug Dimmadome sees a fire but stays hidden. Ryan starts a fire. Giratina catches Tobin off guard and kills him. 18-wheeler vlogger, Ariana Grande, Dialga, and Jacob sleep in shifts. Node receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Spark questions his sanity. Sanji is unable to convince Miguel to not kill him. Bakugo lets Volxion into his shelter. Bry begs for Cassie to kill him. She refuses, keeping Bry alive. I'm sensing a theme. Mel defeats Kirsten in a fight, but spares her life. Marlix screams for help. Nat receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Kirsten, Gemini, and Giratina hunt for other tributes. Ash, Ryan, and John hunt for other tributes. Kevin practices his archery. Welcome back from class, Ethan. You didn't miss very much. Kevin practices archery. Karai attempts to climb a tree but falls on Jacob, killing them both. Bakugo chases Dialga. Imagine Razor. Why am I not protecting Doug? I don't know, Jacob. Node searches for a water source. Volxion, Razor, Doug Dimmadome, Mel, and Ariana Grande hunt for other tributes. Chase kills Bry as he tries to run. Thanks, Chase. Thanks. 18-wheeler vlogger shoots a poisonous dart into Spark's neck, slowly killing him. Jadaji severely slices Cassie with a sword. When did Jadaji get a sword? 7 cannon shots can be heard. Tobin, Sanji, Karai, Jacob, Bry, Spark, and Cassie. Miguel loses sight of where he is. Ashrine and Kirsten sleep in ships. Nat and Gemini hold hands. Giratina receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Mel, Razor, Volxion, and Ryan tell each other ghost stories to lighten up the mood. Marlix receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Arceus accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Ariana Grande tries to sing herself to sleep. Kevin cooks his food before putting his fire out. I don't know what Ariana Grande and I became allies, but I'm not going to question it. Ariana, why are you trying to sing yourself to sleep, girl? Kevin cooks his food before putting his fire out. Bakugo is awoken by nightmares. Jadachi receives clean water from a known sponsor. Chase sees a fire but stays hidden. Dialga thinks about home. John loses sight of where he is. Doug Dimmadome stays awake all night. An 18-wheeler vlogger defeats Node in a fight but spares it to life. Did you just call me your favorite cutie? Mikey, I love you. Gemini hunts for other tributes. Mel tries to sleep through the entire day. Chase, John, Giratina, and Ash Ryan hunt for other tributes. Marlix explores the arena. Dialga says we two-wheeler vlogger off. Razor forces Kevin to kill Miguel Orion. He refuses to kill, so Razor kills him instead. Ariana Grande receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Doug Dimmadome defeats Bakugo in a fight, but spares his life. Node and Kirsten work together for the day. Nat severely injures Dachi, but puts him out of his misery. Volxion picks flowers. Mikey, you're amazing. I love you. 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Arceus, Kevin, and Jadaji. Ethan, I thought you were canceled. Stop. Gemini dies from hypothermia. Bakugo climbs a tree to rest. Razor and 18-wheeler vlogger huddle for warmth. Ariana Grande tries to treat her infection. Dialga receives fresh fruit from an unknown sponsor. Volxion tends to his wounds. Kirsten and Ash Ryan talk about the tribute still alive. Node fends Miguel, Nat, and Chase away from his fire. Giratina starts a fire. Ryan accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Marlix sets an explosive off, killing Doug Dimmadome. Not Doug! Mel stays awake for the night, and John sees a fire but stays hidden. I love you, Ethan. Day 5. Dialga questions his sanity. Volxion defeats Giratina in a fight but spares his life. John stabs Marlix while his back is turned. Node dies trying to escape the arena. Bakugo, Kirsten, and 18-wheeler vlogger get into a fight. Kirsten triumphantly kills them both. So Kirsten's out for revenge. Miguel receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Ash Ryan picks flowers. Nat chases Mel. Ariana Grande stabs Chase while his back is turned. And Razor picks flowers. I kill Kevin but cuddle with 18-minute vlogger. What a storyline. She got an infection because she's a dangerous woman. Oh my god. 8 gunshots can be heard in the distance. Gemini Ryan, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Marlix, the Node, Bakugo, 18-wheeler vlogger, and Chase. The storyline. Wuxian receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. John and Giratina tell stories about themselves to each other. Ariana Grande, Nat, and Kirsten sleep in shifts. Mel kills Ash Ryan with a hatchet. Miguel and Dialga tell ghost stories to each other. And Razor tries to trade his infection. The feast. Dialga decides not to go. Ariana Grande decapitates Miguel with a sword. Razor kills Mel with a sickle. Kirsten, Nat, and Volxion don't go, and Giratina overpowers John, killing him. Razor just killed Mel. Kevin, hello, friendo. Dialga receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Razor, Ariana Grande, Kirsten, Giratina, and Nat hunt for other tributes, and then Volxion discovers a cave. It wasn't me, I think. 4 cannon shots can be heard. Ash Ryan, Mel, and John. And Miguel. Ariana Grande cooks her food before putting her fire out. Kirsten bleeds out due to untreated injuries. When did she get injured? Dialga dies from hypothermia. Razor and Nat hold hands. Volxion receives an explosive, and Giratina receives fresh food. Nat takes Volxion's food, killing him. Ariana Grande attacks Giratina, but he manages to escape. And Razor injures himself. Hi, always. 3 cannon shots can be heard. Kirsten, Dialga, and Volxion. Ariana Grande and Razor huddle for warmth. That's adorable. Giratina catches Nat off guard and kills him. Ariana Grande is pricked by thorns while picking berries, and then Razor runs away from Giratina. So Nat dies. So is it Ariana Grande or Giratina, guys? Who do you think is going to win? Wow, I just bleed up for no reason. Rude. Hi, Nisha. Dang it, I lasted so long. You made it to the final 3. It has to be Ariana. Gotta be Ariana because she killed me. I mean, Chase, you have a point. Let's see. Well, shit. Ariana Grande accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it, and Giratina tracks down and kills Razor. So, Giratina won. Proceed. So, hello, thank you, next. Welcome to the stream. Big fan. Thank you, guys. Fox! Love you, Fox. Thank you for stopping in, bud. So, to start off, Ryan runs away from the cornucopia. Inspirational failure grabs the backpack and retreats. Ash Ryan shoots an arrow at Mel and misses and hits the receipts instead. Jacob and 18-wheeler vlogger fight for a bag. Jacob gives up and retreats. Mikey strangles Kirsten after engaging in a fist fight. I got strangled day one. Rude. Oh, Kirsten, I don't know what to tell you. Cassie runs away from the cornucopia. Nat grabs a jar of fishing bait while Linz gets fishing gear. Price runs away from the cornucopia. Razor severely slices Tobin with a sword. Spark grabs the shield leaning on the cornucopia. Brooks finds a bag full of explosives. Kevin attacks cancelled, but Karai protects him, killing Kevin. Here's the mouthful of the start. I know, right, Chase? Volxion grabs a backpack and retreats. Jadachi snatches a pair of sais. Dialg scares Admin away from the cornucopia. Miguel finds a bag full of explosives. Gemini runs away. I run away. Doug Dimmadome snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Kevin attacked me. Well, damn. Marlix takes a handful of throwing knives. Worm runs away with a lighter and some rope. Node runs away. Chase takes a sickle. Ariana Grande runs away. Crimson runs away. John runs away, and Carlos runs away. Day 1. Ariana Grande thinks about home. Cancelled and Marlix split up to search for resources. Volxion receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Worm springs his ankle while running away from the Crimson. Brooks overpowers Cassie, killing her. You don't want me to have knives? I'm so scared, Mark. Brooks overpowers Cassie, killing her. Node sprains his ankle while running away from Gemini. Carlos accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Price hunts for other tributes. Ash Ryan begs for Chase to kill her. He refuses, keeping Ash Ryan alive. Good job, Chase. Good job. 18-wheeler vlogger collects fruit from a tree. Spark receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Karai throws a knife into Dialga's chest. Inspirational failure unknowingly eats toxic berries. Jacob defeats Razor in a fight but spares his life. Miguel and Bryce split up to search for resources. Name a more iconic duo. John and Linz, okay, more iconic duo, split up to search for resources. Nat, Admin, and Doug Dimmadome hunt for other tributes. Mel and Ryan hunt for other tributes. Mikey kills Tadachi while he is resting. Ethan, go to class. Love you, Mikey. Thank you. Arena event. Acidic rain pours down on the arena. Admin trips face first into a puddle of acidic rain. Bry survives. Jacob survives. Razor injures Linz and leaves her in the rain to die. Gemini, Worm, and Brooks survive. 18-wheeler vlogger refuses Ryan's shelter, killing him. Doug Dimmadome survives. Miguel survives. Cancelled is unable to find shelter and dies. Ash Ryan survives. Node injures Mel and relieves her in the rain to die. Mikey shoves Voltion into a pond of acidic rain, but is pulled in by Volxion, killing them both. Crimson is unable to find shelter and dies. Chase survives. Marlix survives. Nat shoves John into a pond of acidic rain, but is pulled in by John, killing them both. Crimson is unable to find shelter and dies. Chase survives. Marlix survives. Nat shoves John into a pond, but is pulled in by John, killing them both. Spark trips face first into a puddle of acidic rain. Karai trips face first into a puddle of acidic rain. Ariana Grande survives, and Price survives. 21 gunshots can be heard. The receipts: Kirsten, Tobin, Kevin, Cassie, Carlos, Dialga, Inspirational Failure, Jadaji, Admin, Linz, Ryan, Cancelled, Mel, Mikey, Volxion, Crimson, Nat, John, Spark, and Karai are all dead. This wasn't even day one. Jesus. Gemini cooks his food before putting his fire out. Brooks tries to treat his infection. Chase loses sight of where he is. Brian tries to treat his infection. When did we get infected? Marlix looks at the night sky. Node and Doug Dimmadome run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Price receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Ariana Grande sees a fire but stays hidden. Let's go, Ariana. I'm so sorry, Kevin. Marlix looks at the night sky. Node and Doug Dimmadome run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Price receives an explosive. Ariana Grande sees a fire but stays hidden. Miguel thinks about winning. 18-wheeler vlogger goes to sleep. Jacob fends Worm, Ash, and Razor away from his fire. Hi, Samuel. I am thinking about winning. Perfect. Miguel. Day 2. 18-wheeler vlogger dies from hypothermia. Mark. Mark and, Mark and Brooks split up to search for resources. Ash Ryan attacks Bryce, but he manages to escape. Bri, Gemini, and Chase hunt for other tributes. Node scares Miguel off. Razor bashes Jacob's head against the rock several times. Doug Dimmadome steals from Ariana Grande while she isn't looking. Worm receives fresh water from an unknown sponsor. I will time you both out. 18 War of Logger and Jacob have both died. Brian and Miguel huddle for warmth. Ariana Grande shoots a poisonous blow dart into Price's neck, slowly killing him. Doug Dimmadome is awoken by nightmares. Mark tends to Gemini's wounds. Wholesome. Brooks begs for a worm to kill him. He refuses, keeping Brooks alive. Node tends to Ash Ryan's wounds, and Razor and Chase talk about the tribute still alive. The feast. Bry and Doug Dimmadome fight Marlix and Worm. Marlix and Worm survive. So I died, with Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Gemini severely injures Ariana Grande and leaves her to die. Gemini! Razor kills Node as he tries to run. Chase, Ash Ryan, Miguel, and Brooks team up to grab food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Day 3. Brooks picks flowers. Chase receives medical supplies from the known sponsor. Because it's like Among Us, Kevin, that's why. I don't trust him in Among Us, and I don't trust him here. That's it, kill Gemini. Oh god. So Chase wants to kill Gemini. Brooks picks his flowers. Chase receives medical supplies. Razor, Ash Ryan, and Gemini start fighting, but Ash Ryan runs away as Razor kills Gemini. Mark explores the arena. Miguel cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide. Gemini really said thank you next. Worm explores the arena. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Me, Price, Doug Dimmadome, Ariana Grande, The Node, Gemini, and Miguel. Chase, Ash Ryan, and Marlix track down and kill Brooks. Razor and Worm hold hands. Day 4. Chase thinks about home. Marlix silently snaps Ash Ryan's neck. Razor makes a slingshot and Worm questions his sanity. Two cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Brooks and Ash Ryan. Marlix receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Chase and Worm run into each other and decide to truce for the night, and Razor cries himself to sleep. Razor diverts Worm's attention and runs away. Chase steals from Mark without him knowing. This is tense. Like, I literally cannot tell you which one I think is gonna win. No cannon shots can be heard. I'm literally not about to make Ash watch this stream. Oh god. Razor receives an explosive. Chase dies from an infection. Mark and Worm hold hands. Chase died from an infection. You hate to see it. Milex discovers a river. Worm makes a slingshot, and Razor receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. One cannon shot can be heard. Chase. Razor starts a fire. Mark tends to his wounds, and Worm starts a fire as well. Killing Bri forms above. Oh my god. Worm is literally just the story's love interest. Yeah, you're right. It's a better love story than Twilight. Why is Razor... He has so many deadly weapons, but he's not using them. Mm. Worm camouflages himself in the bushes. Razor discovers a river, and then Marlex receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. A fire spreads throughout the arena. Razor and Mark survive, but a fireball strikes Worm, killing him. I'm so pissed off that it was a fire that killed Worm. Like, he's a love story. He's a love interest in this story. Razor severely injures Marlex and leaves him to die. The winner is Razor. At least let me fight. You know, I think I have time for one more. If you guys want one more, we can do one more. Mark! One more. I'm so tired. Miguel, no. Okay, so we're doing this. 18-wheeler Vlogger and Worm fight Karai and Nat. 18-wheeler Vlogger and Worm survive. Cassie and Price run away from the cornucopia. Jadaji finds a canteen. Mikey runs away. Mel runs away. Spark snatches a pair of size. Kevin runs away. Admin grabs a jar of fishing bait, while Chase gets fishing gear. The receipts runs away. Bri runs away with a lighter and some rope. It's not... You know what? I'm just gonna shut up. I ran away with some lighter and some rope. Mark, Jacob run away. John runs away with a lighter and some rope. Ash runs away. Kirsten runs away. Cancel runs away. Gemini runs away. Ariana, Miguel, Carlos, Ryan, Linz, Node run away. Doug Dimmadome takes a handful of throwing knives. Volxion runs away. Tobin, Inspirational Failure, and Dialga run away. Work together to get as many supplies as possible. Crimson finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Razor clutches a first aid kit and runs away, and then Brooks runs away with a letter and some rope. Day 1. Spark and Ash Ryan hunt for other tributes. Gemini sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Jadachi travels to higher ground. Kevin throws a knife into Worm's head. Dialg receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Kirsten travels to higher ground. Tobin thinks about home. Bryce scares Ariana Grande off. Miguel tends to John's wounds. Cancelled scares Chase off. Adamant tries to sleep through the entire day. Lynn's Doug Dimito and Mikey unsuccessfully ambush Marlex, 18-wheeler vlogger, and Razor, who kill them instead. Volxion questions his sanity. The Receipts tries to sleep through the entire day. Crimson discovers the cave. Node travels to higher ground. Cassie tends to Mel's wounds. Price accidentally steps on a landmine. Brooks tries to sleep through the entire day. Carlos attacks Jacob, but he manages to escape. Inspirational failure camouflages himself in the bushes. Ryan travels to higher ground. I saw that, Mark. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Karai, Nat, Worm, Linz, Doug Dimmadome, Mikey, and Price. Gemini dies from an infection. Ryan and Ariana Grande hold hands. Spark passes out from exhaustion. The Receipts receives medical supplies. Cassie quietly hums. John thinks about home. Marlix, Ash, Ryan, and Jadaji cheerfully sing songs together. Kevin goes to sleep. Carlos defeats Razor in a fight but spares his life. Mel, Brian, Dialga sleep in shifts. Node, Jacob, Volxion, and Tobin sleep in shifts. Chase, Brooks, Inspirational Failure, and Kirsten sleep in shifts. Admin and Crimson huddle for warmth. Cancel thinks about home. 18-wheeler vlogger thinks about home. And Miguel is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Kirsten stalks Volxion. Tobin sprains his ankle while running away from Brooks. Admin, Ryan, and Mel hunt for other tributes. Chase receives an explosive. Carlos receives a hatchet. Inspirational Failure makes a wooden spear. Ash Ryan searches for firewood. Graham! Hi, Graham. Kevin, Jacob, Crimson, 18-wheeler vlogger, and Bry hunt for other tributes. Razor camouflages himself in the bushes. John collects fruit from a tree. Ariana Grande dies from hunger. I don't even want to play anymore. Marlix the receipts and Dialga hunt for other tributes. Node thinks about home. Cancel defeats Shadaji in a fight, but spares his life. Spark goes hunting. Miguel injures himself, and Cassie sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Chase has boom booms, and that does sound like something Tobin would do. Two cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Gemini and Ariana Grande. Okay, you forgot to feed Ariana. Kevin, Crimson, and Inspirational Failure unsuccessfully ambush Jacob, John, and Mel, who killed them instead. Cassie tends to her wounds. The Receipts tends to Tobin's wounds. Kirsten bleeds out due to untreated injuries. Carlos, Miguel, Ash Ryan, Brian D. Olga sleep in shifts. Node loses sight of where he is. Kitzel destroys Razor's equipment while he's asleep. Jadaji begs for Marlix to kill him. He refuses, keeping Jadaji alive. I'm good, Graham. How are you doing? I don't know when you got wounded. That's a very good question, Cassie. Chase thinks about winning. 18-wheeler vlogger attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Volxion questions his sanity. Brooks lets admin into his shelter. And Spark tends to Ryan's wounds. Oh my god, no, don't you dare. Ethan, no. Ryan chases and Bry hunt for other tributes. Cassie attacks Razor, but he manages to escape. Marlik severely injures Dialga and leaves him to die. Brooks tends to Tobin's wounds. Spark questions his sanity. Jacob chases Mel. The receipts, Admin, Carlos, and John raid cancels camp while he is asleep. Hunting. Miguel and Ash Ryan split up to search for resources. Jadaji receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. 18-lure vlogger sprains his ankle while running away from Volxion, and Node receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Arena event. A fire spreads throughout the arena. A fireball strikes Chase, killing him. Marlix and Cassie fail to find a safe spot and suffocate. Volxion and the receipts fail to find a safe spot and suffocate. Mel survives. Jadaji survives. A fireball strikes John, killing him. Jacob survives. I survive. Spark falls to the ground but kicks Razor hard enough to then push him into the fire. Brooks survives. Cancel and Ash Ryan fail to find a safe space and suffocate. Tobin, Node, Carlos, Miguel, 18-wheeler vlogger, Ryan survive. The fire catches Admin, killing him. I mean, I have unfinished business with Dialga. 15 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Kevin, Crimson, Inspirational Failure, Kirsten, Dialga, Chase, Marlex, Cassie, Volxion, the receipts, John, Razor, canceled, Ash Ryan, and Admin. Brooks, Carlos, and Jadaji unsuccessfully ambushed Ryan, Node, and Jacob, who killed him instead. Miguel and Tobin hold hands. Bry sets up camp for the night. Sparks screams for help. 18-wheeler vlogger screams for help. Mel loses sight of where she is. I feel like it's just a precaution to get rid of so many people. Because, like, there's literally 36 people in this game. And they want to get it done in a certain amount of time. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Miguel, 18-wheeler vlogger, and Mel successfully ambush and kill Brian, and Jacob. I keep dying. All around me are familiar faces. Tobin and Spark get into a fight over raw meat, but Tobin gives up and runs away. Node decides not to go to the feast. Yes, Jimmy, I keep track of that. Node decides not to go. Node runs away from Tobin. 18-wheeler vlogger stalks Mel. Spark practices archery, and Miguel dies trying to escape the arena. I've heard it offended. At least I died with Bry. You know, Jacob. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Brooks, Carlos, Jadaji, Ryan, me, Jacob, and Miguel. Mel attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. 18-wheeler vlogger receives medical attention from an unknown sponsor. Spark silently snaps Tobin's neck, and Node looks at the night sky. Node discovers a river. Spark collects fruit from a tree. Mel discovers a cave. An 18-wheeler vlogger receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. One cannon shot can be heard in the distance. Tobin. Mark killed his husband. Oh my god, you're right. 18-wheeler vlogger begs for Mel to kill him. She refuses, keeping 18-wheeler vlogger alive. Node and Spark run into each other and decide to truce for the night. I don't know. My money's on Spark at this point, or 18-wheeler vlogger. Hi, Lass. Hi, Risky. Mel fishes. Spark and the 18-wheeler vlogger hunt for other tributes, and Node makes a wooden spear. No cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Honestly, I kind of want Kevin to win. Mel receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Node receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Spark thinks about winning. An 18-wheeler vlogger receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. 18-wheeler vlogger picks flowers. Node spears Spark in the abdomen, and Mel practices her archery. Milo! One cannon shot can be heard in the distance. Spark. Node and Mel huddle for warmth. 18-wheeler vlogger cries himself to sleep. 18-wheeler vlogger injures himself and Mel stalks the Node. No cannon shots can be heard in the distance. This is really tense. 18-wheeler vlogger receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor, and Node spears Mel in the abdomen. If 18-wheeler vlogger wins, there's a 50-50 chance. Place your bets on who's winning. Node bashes 18-wheeler vlogger's head against the rock several times. So, your winner of the Hunger Games. The Node. The Node won.